Are you ready to join the elite tier of AWS professionals? The AWS Certified DevOps Engineer professional is one of the highest paying and most challenging certifications in the cloud industry. In this video, we will cover AWS Certified DevOps Engineer Professional DOP-C02 practice questions and explanations. Boost your preparation for the AWS Certified DevOps Engineer Professional DOP-C02 exam. In this video, we are diving deep into 30 high-fidelity practice questions designed specifically for the DOP-C02 exam. We'll cover SDLC automation, configuration management, infrastructure as code, and resilient cloud solutions. Make sure to pause the video after each question. Try to solve it yourself, and then listen to our detailed professional explanation. Let's get started. A DevOps engineer needs to implement a CI/CD pipeline where code changes are automatically deployed to a production environment only after a manual approval from the QA team. Which AWS code pipeline configuration is required? Option A. Add a CloudWatch event rule to stop the pipeline before the production stage. Option B. Add a manual approval action to the pipeline between the test and production stages. Option C. Use an AWS Lambda function to verify QA signatures before proceeding. Option D. Configure a code deploy trigger that waits for an SNS notification. The correct answer is B. AWS Code Pipeline allows you to add a manual approval action to a stage at the point where you want the pipeline execution to stop so that someone can manually approve or reject the action. This is the standard mechanism to ensure human intervention, like QA sign-off, before deploying to sensitive environments like production. You can also configure SNS notifications to alert the approvers. A company is using AWS CloudFormation to manage its infrastructure. They want to ensure that any manual changes made to the resources outside of CloudFormation are detected. Which feature should they use? Option A. CloudFormation drift detection. Option B. CloudFormation change sets. Option C. AWS config managed rules. Option D. AWS Trusted Advisor. The correct answer is A. Drift detection enables you to identify stack resources that have been changed outside of CloudFormation management. When CloudFormation detects drift, it indicates that the current state of the resource does not match its expected state as defined in the stack template. Change sets B. Are used to preview changes before updating a stack, and AWS config C. Monitors general resource compliance, but drift detection is the specific CloudFormation feature for this purpose. To achieve a recovery time objective (RTO) of 15 minutes for a critical database, which disaster recovery strategy should be implemented? Option A. Backup and restore. Option B. Pilot light. Option C. Warm standby. Option D. Multi-site active. The correct answer is C. Warm standby provides a middle ground between pilot light and multi-site. It involves a scaled-down but fully functional version of your environment running in another region. Because the environment is already warm, it can be scaled up quickly to handle production traffic, meeting tight RTOs like 15 minutes. Backup and restore A. Takes hours, and pilot light B. Usually takes longer than 15 minutes to provision the rest of the infrastructure. A DevOps engineer needs to monitor an application for specific error patterns in the logs and trigger an alert if the error count exceeds 10 within 5 minutes. What is the most efficient way to achieve this? Option A. Stream logs to Kinesis and use Flink for real-time analysis. Option B. Use CloudWatch logs metric filters and create a CloudWatch alarm. Option C. Create a Lambda function triggered by S3 log uploads. Option D. Configure AWS X-Ray to track error rates in traces. The correct answer is B. CloudWatch logs metric filters allow you to search and match terms or patterns in your log data. You can then turn these matches into numerical CloudWatch metrics. Once you have a metric, the error count, you can easily attach a CloudWatch alarm to it with a specific threshold. 10 errors. And period. 5 minutes. An organization requires that all S3 buckets created in any account within their AWS organization must have server-side encryption enabled. What is the best way to enforce this globally? Option A. Apply an IAM policy to all users denying S3 access. Option B. Use a service control policy, SCP, to deny S3, create bucket without encryption headers. Option C. Configure a CloudWatch event to trigger a Lambda that encrypts buckets. Option D. Use AWS Trusted Advisor to flag unencrypted buckets. The correct answer is B. Service Control Policies, SCPs, are a type of organization policy used to manage permissions in your organization. An SCP can be used to set a guardrail that denies the creation of any S3 bucket if the request does not include the specific headers required for encryption, like XAMZ server-side encryption. This enforces compliance at the API level across the entire organization. Your team wants to implement blue-green deployments for an application running on AWS Elastic Beanstalk. Which approach is the most seamless for the end users? Option A. Modify the auto-scaling group to launch new instances. Option B. Perform a swap environment URLs operation. Option C. Use Route 53 weighted routing to shift traffic manually. Option D. Update the existing environment with the new application version. The correct answer is B. Elastic Beanstalk provides a swap environment URLs feature specifically for blue-green deployments. You create a new green environment with the new code version, test it, and then swap the CNAMEs. This directs traffic to the new environment instantly without downtime and allows for a quick rollback by swapping back if issues occur. How can you securely provide database credentials to an application running on Amazon EC2 without hardcoding them in the source code? Option A. Store credentials in an S3 bucket with a public URL. Option B. Use AWS Systems Manager Parameter Store with secure string. Option C. Pass credentials as user data in plain text. Option D. Store credentials in the application's config JSON file on GitHub. The correct answer is B. AWS Systems Manager Parameter Store and AWS Secrets Manager is designed for this exact purpose. By using the secure string parameter type, credentials are encrypted using KMS. The application can then use an IAM role to securely retrieve the parameters at runtime. An auto-scaling group is failing to launch new instances because the account has reached its EC2 service limit. How can the DevOps team be alerted to this failure immediately? Option A. Monitor CloudTrail logs for unauthorized errors. Option B. Use an Amazon Event Bridge rule to match EC2 instance launch unsuccessful events. Option C. Set up a CloudWatch alarm for CPU utilization. Option D. Check the AWS Personal Health Dashboard daily. The correct answer is B. Auto-scaling emits events to Amazon Event Bridge, formerly CloudWatch events, when it succeeds or fails to launch or terminate instances. By creating a rule that filters for EC2 instance launch unsuccessful, you can trigger an SNS notification to alert the team immediately when scaling fails due to limits or other issues. You are using AWS Code Deploy to deploy a Lambda function. You want to shift 10% of traffic to the new version every 10 minutes until all traffic is shifted. Which deployment configuration should you use? Option A. Lambda Canary 10% 10 minutes. Option B. Lambda Linear 10% 10 minutes. Option C. Lambda All at Once. Option D. Lambda Blue-Green. The correct answer is B. AWS Code Deploy offers predefined deployment configurations. Linear means traffic is shifted in equal increments over equal periods of time. E.g., 10% every 10 minutes. Canary would shift a small amount, the canary, and then shift the rest all at once after a specified time. Lambda Linear 10% 10 minutes is the correct match for this requirement. A microservices application is experiencing latency. You need to trace requests across multiple services including Lambda, ECS, and DynamoDB. Which service is best suited for this? Option A. AWS CloudTrail. Option B. Amazon CloudWatch Logs. Option C. AWS X-Ray. Option D. AWS Config. The correct answer is C. AWS X-Ray helps developers analyze and debug distributed applications, such as those built using a microservices architecture. It provides a visual representation of the request path, service map, and allows you to identify performance bottlenecks and errors across the entire stack. A DevOps engineer needs to ensure that all Docker images used in Amazon ECS are scanned for vulnerabilities before they are used in production. Which service provides built-in image scanning? Option A. AWS CodeBuild. Option B. Amazon ECR. Option C. AWS Inspector. Option D. Amazon Guard Duty. The correct answer is B. Amazon Elastic Container Registry, ECR, provides a built-in scan on push feature. It uses the common vulnerabilities and exposures CVEs database from the open-source Claire project to check your container images for known vulnerabilities. This can be integrated into your CI/CD pipeline to block deployments of insecure images. Which AWS service is best suited for managing and automating oxygen monosulfide level patching for a fleet of EC2 instances and on-premises servers? Option A. AWS CloudFormation. Option B. AWS OpsWorks. Option C. AWS Systems Manager Patch Manager. Option D. AWS Service Catalog. The correct answer is C. AWS Systems Manager Patch Manager automates the process of patching managed instances with both security-related and other types of updates. It works for both Windows and Linux and can target instances based on tags. It is specifically designed for OS and application patching, unlike CloudFormation, which manages resource provisioning. You need to prevent developers from accidentally deleting production Amazon S3 buckets. What is the most effective way to implement this safety measure? Option A. Enable S3 versioning. Option B. Apply a bucket policy with an explicit deny on S3, delete bucket. Option C. Use MFA delete. Option D. Remove the S3, delete bucket permission from the IAM role. The correct answer is C. While IAM permissions, D, and bucket policies, B, can prevent deletion, MFA delete adds an extra layer of protection by requiring multi-factor authentication for the specific action of deleting a bucket or changing its versioning state. This ensures that even if credentials are compromised, a bucket cannot be easily deleted. An application is running on EC2. You want to collect custom metrics, such as the number of logged-in users, and view them in CloudWatch. How do you achieve this? Option A. Install the unified CloudWatch agent and configure custom metrics. Option B. Enable detailed monitoring in the EC2 console. Option C. Stream VPC flow logs to CloudWatch. Option D. Use AWS config to track application state. The correct answer is A. The unified CloudWatch agent can be installed on EC2 instances or on-premises servers to collect internal system-level metrics, like disk usage, memory, and custom application metrics. Detailed monitoring, B, only increases the frequency of default metrics, like CPU, from 5 minutes to 1 minute but does not provide custom application metrics. A company requires a multi-region disaster recovery solution for an RDS database with an RPO of less than 1 second. Which RDS feature should they use? Option A. RDS multi-as. Option B. RDS read replicas. Asynchronous. Option C. Amazon Aurora Global Database. Option D. Daily RDS snapshots with cross-region copy. The correct answer is C. Amazon Aurora Global Database is designed for globally distributed applications. It uses storage-based replication to achieve cross-region latency of typically less than 1 second, providing a very low RPO. Multi-as A is for high availability within a single region, not disaster recovery across regions. In a CI/CD pipeline, you want to perform automated integration tests after the code is built but before it is deployed. To staging. Where should these tests run? Option A. Inside AWS Code Commit. Option B. As a stage in AWS Code Build. Option C. Inside AWS Code Deploy using hooks. Option D. In the AWS Management Console. The correct answer is B. AWS Code Build is a fully managed build service that can compile source code, run tests, and produce software packages. It is common practice to include unit and integration tests as part of the build phase in the pipeline to catch bugs early. Code deploy hooks, C, are for tests during the deployment process itself. You have a CloudFormation template that creates a VPC and a subnet. You want to use the VPC ID from this stack in another separate CloudFormation stack. How do you do this? Option A. Use the FN import value intrinsic function in the second stack. Option B. Copy and paste the VPC ID manually. Option C. Use a nested stack. Option D. Reference the VPC ID using an S3 bucket URL. The correct answer is A. To share information between stacks, you use outputs in the first stack with an export name. In the second stack, you can use the FN import value function to retrieve that exported value. This creates a cross-stack reference. Which service allows you to centrally manage and govern your environment as you grow and scale your workloads on AWS, specifically for creating a landing zone? Option A. AWS Organizations. Option B. AWS Control Tower. Option C. AWS Systems Manager. Option D. AWS Service Catalog. The correct answer is B. AWS Control Tower provides the easiest way to set up and govern a secure, multi-account AWS environment, called a landing zone. It orchestrates other services like AWS Organizations, AWS Config, and AWS CloudTrail to implement governance guardrails and best practices. A critical application goes down, and you need to find out who made the last configuration change to the production security group. Which service should you check? Option A. Amazon CloudWatch logs. Option B. AWS CloudTrail. Option C. AWS Config. Option D. VPC flow logs. The correct answer is B. AWS CloudTrail records AWS API calls for your account and delivers log files to you. It identifies the user, the time, the source IP address, and the parameters of the API call, allowing you to track who changed a security group or any other AWS resource. To handle a sudden spike in traffic for a web application, you want your auto-scaling group, ASG, to add instances proactively based on predicted traffic patterns. Which scaling policy should you use? Option A. Simple scaling. Option B. Step scaling. Option C. Target tracking scaling. Option D. Predictive scaling. The correct answer is D. Predictive scaling uses machine learning to analyze your historical workload and forecast future capacity needs. It then proactively schedules scaling actions to ensure you have enough instances before the traffic increase occurs. Simple and step scaling are reactive. A DevOps engineer wants to automate the process of creating gold images for EC2 instances with specific software and security patches. Which service is designed for this? Option A. AWS Code Pipeline. Option B. EC2 Image Builder. Option C. AWS CloudFormation. Option D. Amazon Machine Image, AMI, Factory. The correct answer is B. EC2 Image Builder is a fully managed AWS service that makes it easier to automate the creation, management, and deployment of customized, secure, and up-to-date golden server images. AMIS. It includes building, testing, and distributing the images. You want to receive a notification if your AWS monthly bill is projected to exceed $500. Which tool should you use? Option A. AWS Trusted Advisor. Option B, AWS Budgets. Option C, AWS Cost Explorer. Option D, CloudWatch Billing Alarms. The correct answer is B. AWS Budgets allows you to set custom budgets that alert you when your costs or usage exceed, or are forecasted to exceed, your budgeted amount, while CloudWatch can monitor current billing. D. AWS Budgets is more feature-rich for forecasting and management. You need to deploy a complex application stack across multiple AWS accounts and regions simultaneously. What is the most efficient CloudFormation feature to use? Option A, nested stacks. Option B, CloudFormation stack sets. Option C, CloudFormation change sets. Option D, CloudFormation custom resources. The correct answer is B. CloudFormation stack sets extend the functionality of stacks by enabling you to create, update, or delete stacks across multiple accounts and regions with a single operation. This is essential for enterprise-scale DevOps. An application requires an SSL/TLS certificate for its load balancer. Which service should you use to provision and manage this certificate for free? Option A, AWS IAM. Option B, AWS Certificate Manager, ACM. Option C, AWS Secrets Manager. Option D, Amazon Route 53. The correct answer is B. AWS Certificate Manager, ACM, makes it easy to provision, manage, and deploy public and private SSL/TLS certificates for use with AWS services like ELB, CloudFront, and API Gateway. Public certificates provisioned through ACM are free of charge. During a code deployment, you want to run a script to verify that the application is healthy before allowing traffic to it. In which hook of the app spec file should you put this script? Option A, before install. Option B, after install. Option C, validate service. Option D, allow traffic. The correct answer is C. In an app spec file for EC2 on premises, the validate service hook is the last deployment lifecycle event. It is used to verify that the deployment was successful and the service is performing as expected before the deployment is marked as a success. Which CloudWatch feature provides a single dashboard to view health and performance metrics across all your AWS resources and applications in real time? Option A, CloudWatch Logs. Option B, CloudWatch Dashboards. Option C, CloudWatch Metrics. Option D, CloudWatch Events. The correct answer is B. CloudWatch dashboards are customizable homepages in the CloudWatch console that you can use to monitor your resources in a single view, even those resources that are spread across different regions. A web application's static content is being served from S3 to improve performance for global users and reduce latency. Which service should you integrate? Option A, Amazon Elasticache. Option B, Amazon CloudFront. Option C, AWS Global Accelerator. Option D, Route 53 Latency Routing. The correct answer is B. Amazon CloudFront is a content delivery network, CDN, that caches content at edge locations around the world. Serving S3 content through CloudFront significantly reduces latency for global users and also reduces the load on the S3 origin. You want to use Chef or Puppet to manage the configuration of your EC2 instances. Which AWS service provides a managed hosting environment for these tools? Option A, AWS Systems Manager. Option B, AWS OpsWorks. Option C, AWS Config. Option D, AWS CloudFormation. The correct answer is B. AWS OpsWorks is a configuration management service that provides managed instances of Chef and Puppet. It allows you to use Chef recipes or Puppet modules to automate the configuration, deployment, and management of your servers. Which AWS service provides a private Git-compatible repository to store your application code and binaries? Option A, AWS CodeBuild. Option B, AWS Code Commit. Option C, Amazon ECR. Option D, AWS Code Artifact. The correct answer is B. AWS Code Commit is a secure, highly scalable, managed source control service that hosts private Git repositories. It integrates well with other AWS services like CodePipeline and CodeBuild. You want to automatically isolate an EC2 instance if it shows signs of a security compromise. Which workflow is best? Option A, Guard Duty Detection triggers Event Bridge, which triggers a Lambda to change the instance's security group. Option B, CloudWatch Alarm triggers an SNS notification to the admin. Option C, CloudTrail logs are manually reviewed by a security analyst. Option D, AWS config rules block all traffic to the account. The correct answer is A. This is a classic automated remediation scenario. Amazon Guard Duty Threat Detection can send findings to Event Bridge. An Event Bridge rule can then trigger an AWS Lambda function that performs a remediation action, such as moving the affected instance to a quarantine security group with no ingress/egress. That wraps up our 30-question deep dive into the AWS Certified DevOps Engineer Professional DOP-C02 exam material. Remember, this exam is as much about understanding why a solution works as it is about knowing the services. If you found these explanations helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe for more professional Oz content. Comment below with your score. How many did you get right? For the full 75-question practice sets and detailed study guides, check the link in the description below.